Okay, we are now streaming live to Twitch. Mr. Busby, if you could go into the Twitch channel and what have you and monitor that. And
yep, already there.
Because every time I try and do it, it fails. There's too many things on my screen. Just to let you know. Right, so that'll be coming up in about 30 seconds time. We are now, by the way, streaming at 720p.
Oh my!
Going for it, stepped up a bit. But I've also increased the thing to 30 seconds, just in case for the drop frames. Yeah.
Well, I'm still waiting for it to come online.
Yeah, it'll be 30 seconds, mate. So
right.
Whatever.
This is a long 30 seconds.
But apart from that, right, we'll wait for the 30 seconds to come up, and wait for Mr. Busby to say that we're actually streaming live.
Live in both ears at 720p.
Yep.
Woo.
Not where I live. You're lucky to get 320p.
Yeah. three actually 20 pence pieces.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the lights could go out at any time.
Any moment.
Any time.
I mean, I always hate it when you go,
Yeah.
It's saying it's saying it's offline.
Yeah, okay.
It sent the Twitter alert out that you went live, but it's still offline.
Okay.
It's not liking it.
Stuff. I think we'll start anyway. See what happens. What do you reckon?
Just go with it.
Just go with it. Yeah. Okay.
Go with it.
Right then. Right. In 3, 2, 1.
Always ask someone you love before you put anything in your mouth.
I don't care. What? They're gonna care.
Wrong button. Welcome to the LARPBook podcast, episode 20, Monday the 2nd of November 2015. Yes, that's right, we're broadcasting on a Monday, not a Sunday, just to confuse the hell out of you and everybody else. With us today are guests Matthew and Sam from Crimson Moon. Say hi, Matthew and Sam. Also with us as well, as always, is the incredibly bald and shiny-headed one, Lucas Pitimus Maximus.
You just will not let it go, will you? Honestly,
Never
I'll
let it go.
have a full head of hair. I'm not too sure when.
However, in stark contrast with us, Robert couldn't join us tonight because he's on some major pain-killing drugs after being to the dentist. So we've encouraged Thomas, very hairy Busby, to join us tonight on video as well. Look at that! Wow!
Yeah,
doesn't happen often. And the good thing is the Twitch has finally come up.
Whoop 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 whoop!
Oh,
excellent.
So it's just a matter of waiting it out. Was it making us sweat?
It was, yeah, it was. Twitch does that. So, like I said, right, in today's show, Crimson Moon are with us. We are looking at LARPCon, PvP versus PvE. We've got some events, and probably much, much, much more. When I say much more, probably one or two things. Right then, so...
When we say one or two things, we really mean we're kind of hoping for some inspiration.
Yeah.
And when we're hoping for inspiration, we're really on dodgy ground there as well.
Yes.
Do you know what I've noticed more than anything at the moment? And we'll come across to Matthew and Sam in a second, but I'm looking at the Skype channel, and it looks like you got Tom on the one side, Luke on the other. It looks like they're cuddling up to one another. Oh,
you
God.
know, it makes sense.
It does, yeah.
I bet he'll always bother you about how we got the separate backgrounds as well. We're actually right next to each other. Isn't that right, Dom?
I know. Hang on. There you go.
Oh, God. I can't imagine why we only have about 12 listeners.
Including my mum, who's now going to know or think.
Right then, so Matthew and Sam from Crimson Moon, how are you two doing?
Doing pretty good. Yourself?
Yeah, kicking and screaming. So, yeah, so tell us a little bit about, kind of what you do and what Crimson Moon's all about.
Alright, well, Crimson Moon is fully in-character tavern.
Excellent. We like those, don't we, Luke?
We do love taverns.
And any sort of tavern-based thing.
No,
really.
I'm not going to limit that.
One of the beauties of the Crimson Moon is because it's fully in character. In that Sam and I both play characters behind the bar, and throughout the canvas in the local area, is that it does adapt to different systems, different universes.
Yeah.
So taverns literally everywhere from almost from the Junkers of Serenity through to the high fantasy of Orcs and Elves.
Because I was going to ask you about this. You must have a crap load of costumes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, yes, we'd like you as a tavern. What we're actually doing is a cross between Steampunk and Rocky Horror Picture Show. Have you got a costume for that? You know.
Think that simple.
That would be awesome.
You dream of those kind of awkward events rather than the crap you actually get to, have to try and deal with.
Yeah.
Oh, you just want an orc? All right, fair enough.
Oh god, that's boring. Can't we throw some steampunk into that? I know no more about steampunk, by the way.
Just think spikes.
Now
Yeah.
I met you guys as in Crimson Moon at the Pirate Festival over in Raglan.
This is true, you did.
And I have to say, straight afterwards, in hindsight, what I shouldn't have done is walk through the door. Because by walking through the door, I immediately should have just handed you my wallet. It was cheaper.
Yeah, it would have been.
And I don't know how you do it, but there must be some kind of actual hex there, because what I found myself is I couldn't say, do you know what? I'll come back after I've had a look around. Because
there's always bits and pieces interesting. We do enjoy set dressing. It's one of the things that car boots are awesome for. Is bits
yeah.
of kit.
Well, amazing.
Well, we like to keep you there and keep you talking.
For drinking, you mean? I was there, and I think it was a mixture of two of you as you were tag teaming, and we were trying out the lager, which then went on to the mead, and there were three of us in there. And God knows how you did it, and God bless you for it, because you happened to sell us all far more booze than we actually needed at the time, which was brilliant. Because you'd convinced us we needed it all. I went out with 2 drinks thinking there's only one of me here, but I actually managed to convince myself at the time I needed it. It was marvellous. And it was only when I was out the door that I suddenly realised, I thought, I've got 2 glasses. What am I doing? Oh, it doesn't matter. And then just drank it anyway.
Yes.
Surely... Go on, sorry.
I say the standard line you see is that wenches go through a lot of training, and what you're talking about is really the fact that you were dealt with by a wench. And that just goes.
I think I was frigging done over by you lot. I should be wearing a little 3-pointed hat and a little cape, you daylight robbers, because quite frankly, you know how it is, you kind of feel vulnerable when you go in there because you're so nice. You're sat there going, this is great, and haven't they got a fabulous array? And then as you're actually thinking that, there are bottles just been put into a bag somewhere, and you're sat there going, I probably did need those, and do I need my wallet? I was actually asking you how much money you wanted. I had no control over this whatsoever. It was just like, it's just take how much you need. And I started thinking, at no point am I in control of this. It has to be, where have you got your hex from? Because quite frankly, I need I need some money back.
I just think it's alchemy. What we do is we entrance with all the different colours of bottles we've got.
Right.
That's what it is, see? That's what it is.
That's got to be it, hasn't it?
Shiny
so how
things.
long have you been trading? As Crimson Moon, because it's been quite. I remember you at lots of different events.
Yeah, didn't we see them at Cosmiston Village or something as well, Luke? Cosmiston, whatever it's called.
I think we did, and I met you. I'm pretty sure I've met you at a gathering, and it's been a fair while since I've been to some of those. But the one I can't remember, and you will be able to clear this up, is it's the Mayfest. Did you ever go to that?
Well, the Crimson Moon's been around for about 12 years now.
Yeah.
Panther's only actually been involved with it in the last 12 months.
Well, for me, it's 5 years.
Well, yes.
But
just feels like 12. It's actually been 12 months. Feels like 5 years. When did you start drinking? Was it month 1? Do you know, I just love doing this job. They just kind of just keep on feeding you the drink. You're as much at the mercy of this kind of spell as we are. But I have to say that I do enjoy your drink an awful lot, and it does encourage me, because I said to we had a chat about this at one of the previous discussions and shows, and I was saying that I marvel at the fact that you are one of the very few people who do seriously give people an opportunity to try before they buy.
Yeah.
And I love this, but the problem is I haven't calmed down on the buying yet. So I'm trying and then just buying anyway.
This is part of the fun. And also,
it is.
Now at the point where, since you saw us last, we've now got another 7 types of mead in our stock range. So.
7 more types of mead.
Yeah.
Why don't you just hand them your debit card now?
I know. I'll give you the number, shall I? I might as well. I've got
you'll have to remortgage, but
I know. I haven't got any mortgage left. Do you take really dodgy checks?
Oh, we can try.
We can figure it out.
Yeah,
actually, it's so dodgy. In fact, actually, it's a paying in request. But I'll fill it out anyway. So you say 7 types of mead.
Well, that's 7 on top of the ones you saw. So we're now up to 15 types of mead we carry as standard now. Along with something like 21 different kinds of country wine.
Holy moly!
I got a question. I've got a question. Do you make this all yourself, or
no? We source from various wineries up and down the UK.
Right.
We've just been looking to outsource more and more this year because the mead is so popular with LARPers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, isn't it?
And therefore, it seemed that we should give them more variety.
Yeah. Plus, in between, the opportunity to actually go out and try different types of meat. It gives us an excuse to go on a road trip.
So, oh, darn.
If it gets too busy for you, me and Stu are more than happy, and I'll include Thomas because someone's got to drive.
Yeah.
To actually go and do some testing, on your behalf to let you know. Because I can't afford it anymore. I've got to stop. I've got kids, everything, and a mortgage. The problem is, you just told me about 15 types more of mead, and I'm sat there already trying to figure out how I'm going to tell my wife that I'm coming home with another 12 bottles. So maybe that will be a writing thing. Can you help me think of some excuses for why it is I'm coming home with so much? Because Christmas now, I can't use that anymore.
So send in all of your comments and to help Luke out to larpbookshow@gmail.com.
Yeah, if you can, because I need help. But one of the things I was going to ask you, and I'm sorry to have to even ask a serious question, but it was just interesting that for my company, LARP Safety, it was actually Luke and Rebecca Pitt. That's how we came to it. How did you get to Crimson Moon, and what did you think you were doing at the time?
Well, this would come back to Ian, who is the person who started this business.
Right.
12 years ago.
12 years ago now.
Yeah.
And how he got to the name, I am not entirely sure, and he has never managed to give me
the same answer twice.
Yeah.
There is that. The logo, however, is more understandable.
Right, okay.
I don't know if you've seen it on our Facebook page, but you have the Crimson Moon with the wolf's head in the front.
Yeah.
And this comes from the fact that this all started actually really quite innocently. Ian and his wife were at Curious Pastimes.
Okay.
They were...
Which is I think it's qualified as a medium LARP these days. It's a festival system 4 times a year.
And he had gone as a player in the Wolves.
Okay, right.
They had started out just by basically organising, making sure there were drinks for the camp and hospitality in the camp.
Yeah.
He's good at organising things as Ian, so it then extended and other camps started coming in even more often to the Wolves because their hospitality was good and they had beer and they had cider and they had mead.
Did you need any more?
That's right.
Ian was kind of running a full bar.
And at that
point it was like, oh. And at that point he was still working full-time. His wife was working full-time and he was running a bar on the side and it grew and grew and grew. into what we have now.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, but the logo of the wolf against the Crimson Moon is because it started out just as the Wolf's Bar.
Right. That's fascinating. It always interests me how people start and where they get their the names from. And it's great that you're just carrying on this tradition, I have to say, because Crimson Moon for me is synonymous really with an awful lot of LARPing. In fact, actually, if you're not kind of there, I'm sober, which tends to be quite a problem for the scenario and plot.
Yeah, I'd say we both need to be drunk for that.
We definitely, you don't want us sober. There's Thomas, you know this. You know, we're not good, me and Stuart together, if we're bored or sober.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Especially bored.
It's a recipe for disaster.
I mean, bored.
Weekend.
I mean, bored and sober. Oh, good God! No,
no, you definitely don't want that. So, just out of interest, then, you're going to LARPCon next year when we get your name added.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just say Luke and Stewie sent you.
Yeah.
They're bound to at least go who.
Yeah.
Instant.
Yeah. Instant ban. Yeah. But what else are you doing up towards Christmas so that anyone who's kind of fairly local to the UK can pop along to come and see you?
Actually, the second weekend in December, we're working with Time and Tide events up in Newcastle.
Right.
We're in the Black Keep for Medieval Christmas.
Ooh.
So we will have all those 15 types of mead. Our 16, is it, Sam?
No, it's 20 or
Stop bragging.
21 types of country wine.
Yeah.
And we're serving hot mead and hot mulled wine as well.
What was the address again?
Castle. We've worked with Time and Tide twice this year.
Right.
And it's both been a good laugh and a good time for everyone.
Yeah.
Tolkien. So we had a lot of LARPers coming in, appropriate gear. We had a lot of hobbits, a lot of elves. Mm-hmm. It was all good.
That's marvellous.
Have you both been LARPing long for a length of time?
I've been LARPing for about 11 years.
Okay.
With me, I've been LARPing about 7-8 years now.
Okay.
So Matthew, if I remember rightly, you got quite a young face about you, so you must have been 2 when you started.
Yeah, I started when I was, I started when I was 18. I actually went to Curious Pastimes. To be honest, it's my home system and anything. And on my first event, I was on the battlefield, and boy, was that an experience.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
I remember my first gathering, seeing about 3,500 people just running at you. And I tell you what, you certainly know the colour of adrenaline at that point.
Yeah. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. It's brown and sticky.
Yeah. So you're doing Newcastle up till Christmas, but are you doing anything else?
We've got the Wolves Banquet coming up next weekend. It's a faction event, or a faction banquet from Curious Pastimes. We'll be with the bar whilst they're feasting.
Marvellous. And do you actually get to do any LARPing yourselves, or?
Yeah, we do actually, because it is a fully in character tavern, we do play characters, so it does confuse people sometimes when the person behind the bar is actually in character and role playing with them.
And then asking them for real cash.
Yeah. Have you ever had someone so drunk they've tried to give you in character money?
Yes.
I will stop at some point. So what is the strangest thing that's ever happened to you whilst you were doing this, and you sat there and thought, Christ, if I only had a camera?
Well, we've been fortunate enough to have a camera when the Fabulous Emperor Fu ran the bar. Yes. That's one of the strangest experiences ever.
Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't hear all of that then.
The Fabulous Emperor Fu.
He sounds fabulous.
It is truly fabulous. It is on YouTube if you look up Volsanger's channel.
Right.
Who's the bard. He hired the bar for a full 2 hours in character.
Yeah.
Made an arrangement in a contract that he would run and own the bar for 2 proper clock hours. Only he failed to negotiate into the contract the wenches. Take
over the bar and to lord it over everyone in game. The wenches walked out from behind the bar and sat down and wouldn't move from the fire pit.
Well, there you go. You know, if you don't negotiate for wenches, then you've only got yourself to blame. Let's be honest.
They have rights and they have needs, and you know, kind of, it's all about job satisfaction and, you know, working time directive.
Yes.
Exactly.
You know, because if you don't negotiate for the wenches, this is what happens.
Then you shall have no treaty, no vaccine, and no Lieutenant Yar.
I think that just says it all, doesn't it? Really,
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one and only time that's ever worked, by the way.
I know.
19 shows we've been trying to fit that one in, and you, Crimson Moon, have managed to make that happen. But now the problem is we've got to go and find another one.
I got one.
Pillow puncher.
That's what you are.
Hang on a minute. So you've got Newcastle, you've got the Wolves Banquet. I mean, how many of these events do you actually manage to do? Is this a kind of like a full-time thing for you too, or is it just, you know, fitting around something else?
Well, this 12 months that I've been involved with it, where I haven't been a barfly, and actually drinking at the Crimson Moon, for a number of years. I've been getting involved because I'm coming out of the forces. So it's been running on resettlement time. I've been working with the Crimson Moon and running that, and running my working full time in the army.
This year I'm still working full time, as it were. I actually work at Newcastle University.
Okay.
And we've been doing this sort of weekends during annual leave and all the rest of it. So this year has actually been a quiet year for the Crimson Moon because we've only done 22 events.
Oh, is that all? Just 22?
Really, I don't. How do you guys live?
Yeah.
I mean, I just, it must be terrible for you. Just a 22.
Just the 22.
Just 22, yeah.
It's been, like I say, it's been a quiet year. Ian has been very kind to us in our first year. I mean, we didn't do any advertising.
So really, what we should end on, I suppose, is a plea for Crimson Moon. You know, that they've really had it quite quiet. There's just been the 22. Let's see if we can get it to 30. If we can just all kind of, you know, just chip in something and get you another 15 events to make it a 37. And then who knows?
Yeah.
That would be brilliant, because with Matthew next year, this needs to be a full-time job for him, because, you know, otherwise he's just going to be at home cooking.
Well,
we wouldn't want that now, would we?
In that case, then we definitely need to get to the 52. You know, 52 weeks of the year. You know, he's away every single week. You know,
for at least 1 or 2 events. You've got enough mead, haven't you? Really? Yeah. What you've got to do is get 1 mead for every single week. Yeah. At least. You've got 1 for every month. You've got mead of the month now, and now you need to get 1 for, you know, every week there. So you could just, you know, have that special and just remain completely legless.
Yeah. I'm really liking your thinking. Bearing in mind, today I have had my university colleagues telling me I need to move into Polish mead. So,
oh no, you don't. No, you don't. Oh, trust us.
I'm very sad Rob didn't come here, because that's how I met Rob.
Yeah.
He said, try this. I'm never falling for that one again.
Yeah, that was pretty much. I managed to acquire it from Rob. We'll use the word acquire loosely.
Yes.
I said to Luke, I said, do you like mead? He said, that's how we met. All right. I said, do you like mead? He went, yes. I went, great, take a swig of that. The mead that I'd given him was the 75% proof Lithuanian mead.
What? I literally glugged it down as you do with mead, because you sit there and go, oh, honey mead. I literally, I don't remember much of that night. All I can tell you is that, you know, every time I actually talk about it, my esophagus starts to walk out. It was just horrendous. You could literally run vehicles on this stuff. It was that bad. And
a beautiful friendship was born.
In this kind of mead-soaked kind of like, I love you. You're not too sure about. And I was actually borrowing Rob's hair as well to make myself look more attractive to Stuart. So that was, pretty hideous and a very good start. But, we don't like to talk about that night because quite a lot happened.
It was at that point that Luke pretty much knew that any venture with me was going to be interesting and alcohol-fueled.
Yes.
They are now. But now we're just too old for that kind of crap, so we just want Horlicks. Does mead, is there a Horlicks flavour mead? You are sorry?
Oh, I like the concept of that OT relaxed nightcap.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, there's one. Here's a good one because, right, once you've had a good day's LARPing, you've been supping mead all day. You've veered clear of the Polish stuff. Let's call it fuel for one.
Okay.
And then you're looking for something quite nice to round that evening off. What do you recommend?
Well, to be honest, when we go to about 2 o'clock in the morning till time out, effectively every time we serve.
Does it go till 2?
Yeah, we start serving at time in, which is typically 10 o'clock in the morning, and then we time out at 2 a.m.
Luke and I don't know that. We're usually in bed by about 11.
Never done till 2. We didn't even know it went on till 2. Holy cow, I've been missing out on an extra 6-8 hours worth of drinking.
I was thinking, so at the end of the night, because we've got the fire pit going, we actually drop some of lime-based Christmas mead into the coals and warm it up just as we're closing up for the night and closing the tavern off. And the wenches and ourselves will just sit down and we'll polish off Christmas.
Woof.
Yeah.
And what's that called again?
Totty at night.
And to be honest, this year I'm really tempted to try it with Krampus as well.
So what is that? It is the name of that mead?
It's lime-based Christmas mead. But we've actually started carrying Krampus by the Lancashire Mead Company.
Okay.
Is Gordon's take on it, and it's very nice.
It's a different sort of balance of spices.
Okay.
And I'm really rather keen on it, but I haven't tried it warm yet.
For those of you that can't see the video or listen to this on the podcast later on, Luke was frantically scribbling down those names.
That's not true. No, it is actually. I've just literally written it down. Lime-based meat are fantastic, right? Throw it on the coals.
God, Jesus.
I'm not a raging alcoholic. I'm just borderline.
Well,
Borderline.
Borderline.
You keep telling yourself that.
Yeah.
Shut it, Harry.
So, for people then to get in contact with you and order up some fantastic mead, obviously they can go to the website, which is crimsonmoon.co.uk. Is there any other ways that they can get in contact with you? Twitter, Facebook, yada, whatever?
We have a Facebook page, which is Crimson Moon Tavern, and we also are on Twitter.
Was a bit of a Freudian slip.
we're also in prison. I mean, we're
we are also on Twitter as Crimson Moon Tavern.
Okay, excellent. So people get in contact with you that way. I'll tell you what, we'll have to probably do some sort of competition with you at some point to offer our listeners a bottle of something. I'll get in contact with you about that and see what we can do. All right.
I think that's very doable. Yeah.
I think that's a fantastic idea. And of course we may need. We may.
What you're giving away.
Yeah, we may need some samples.
I might just need some discount.
Yeah, Luke, they're not happy with the 5-fingered one that you tried to get away with. All right.
Look, I'm not walking to Newcastle for my own health. I'm doing all the research so our listener doesn't have to.
Exactly. And it's someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it.
This.
Mob.
Cool. Well, excellent. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Any questions?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
I don't think so.
Excellent. No worries.
Thank you so much for coming on. Because I've been looking forward to this just to get some, some info. and kind of try and bribe you for some discount. Although I don't know, that's a complete oxymoron, isn't it? Because if I'm bribing you for discount, really, why don't I just save the money and try and mug you?
I'm sure we can work out some kind of advertising if you just happen to slip into your webcam image the Crimson Moon logo every so often. We could.
Oh yeah, like a Coke advert.
My Facebook personality when every picture is just going to be his wolf's head.
Yeah, that's the
one.
Oh, don't.
Shameless.
Yeah, don't worry.
I could get on here, couldn't I?
You could.
Everything on here. Get a tattoo or something like that.
Yeah.
Get it on the other arm. Look, so that's my other tattoo. But that's there. It would just be this kind of things with 20% discount at the next show. We'll have to keep it good though because it's a tattoo. It's on forever.
You'll have to do
something quite kind of generic.
You'll have to do like a QR code.
Get it really, really close so people can actually get around to it.
Beep.
But then where to put it?
Yeah, well,
because that's not going to work, is it? If I sit there and go, and if I just drop my pants right now,
oh god, I mean, look, I'm just telling you, Luke, the QR codes don't need to be that big. Just say it.
yeah, and there's a gap in it.
It spells wow.
Oh no, that's something else.
Right.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. That's superb. No worries. Have fun.
Bye.
Bye.
I'll speak to you soon.
Bye bye.
I love the Crimson Moon. Oh, and that Christmas mead sounds absolutely awesome.
It certainly does, doesn't it? Yeah, I'll definitely get in contact with them. We'll do something, I think, for Christmas. We'll do some sort of competition and what have you. I think I don't know what yet. We'll come up with something
to figure something out.
I'll think of something probably when I'm sat on the loo or something like that. Like,
yeah, that's a good idea.
Just wash your hands before you send anything out.
Yeah, it will do. Yeah, I'll always wash my hands. Okay, right. So that was Crimson Moon. Yeah, they are awesome. If you've not actually been over to see them in their in-character bars, they're just brilliant, superb. Yeah. You cannot fault them really, and they will make you part with money. I will let you know now. It's a magical effect they have.
Yeah, honestly, I spend an absolute fortune with them. My wife now bans me. She just takes all my money off me. I have to tell her what I want, and she gives me only enough money just to get that. Yeah. I still manage to come out with more, and then I go back with more money, and then just buy more. It's ridiculous. It's lovely stuff. You just can't stop it. No. And when you try the lagers and what have you, you could get fair to piddling pretty quickly. Or is that just me?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Well, you are a bit of a lightweight these days.
Don't, and that's not true. No, I know it's true. Well, considering that blooming Polish stuff, oh Jesus! I honest Thomas, you've got to. I don't know whether Rob has ever lulled you into a false sense of security. If he ever offers you a drink.
Well, I don't drink really anyway. Although I have acquired the taste for mead recently.
Yeah.
It's odd that.
But I'll be a lot more cautious because I'm going to an event very soon with Rob, and if he offers me anything, I'm going to just politely decline.
Just go ooh, no, I'm actually sort of giving it a bit of a rest.
Yeah, just watching my figure.
Yeah. Gotta make sure those hips don't get too big.
Well, because those hips don't lie.
I know.
Yeah. But I always remember he'll come in and it'll be something like, I've just got something. Do you want to have a quick try of it? No, no, it's not Polish made. And then that's it. That's how he gets you.
No, it's not Polish mead.
Yeah. So yeah, no. It's ordinary stuff. No.
Why did you say Polish mead in the bottle? Oh no. I just decanted it.
It's just a bottle I had laying around.
Yeah, he crossed it out in crayon.
We don't trust him with anything sharper.
No, God no. Right, so we'll come on to the events and what have you in a bit. But right, Mr. Busby, you were wanting to talk about, and I must be honest, I will find this a bit fascinating. Events, because I've not actually been to one of these, right? And I can see the appeal, and I can also see the as well, right?
Yeah.
But events that are player versus player, rather player versus we'll say environment, but NPCs and story and script and stuff. So events that are purely PvP.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, no, I would say. I mean, I'm still quite new to LARP. I haven't experienced a lot of different types of LARPs. But the ones I have experienced have pretty much always been where you get a group of players who create a character, and then you get a group of other people that are NPCs, and the NPC's sole point is to, well, make it enjoyable for the players. Give them a challenge, give them some combat,
That's right.
you know, to make it a good experience. Now, you have a lot of control over that. Say you're running the event, you've got a lot of control whether, you know, like you say, okay, throw in another wave or come back, they're losing badly, they're going to die within the first 5 minutes. Now, a player versus player event, it kind of feels like there'll be a lot more tension in it, you know, because the stakes are higher.
Yeah.
Both sides don't want to lose, but you would kind of lose that control. I mean, what's stopping them attacking within 5 minutes and wiping out the entire team? You know, what's preventing it getting completely out of control and, you know, just mass mayhem everywhere? Now, I think, can the gathering be player versus player sometimes? Because there are different factions, aren't there? I know there are NPC factions as well. Is that right?
Yeah, they kind of do it on a switch basis, right? Yes, there is players versus players, obviously, because of the factions and what have you. So bears against the whoever's and yada yada yadas, right? But within that is the story plot driven stuff as well, right? So the story plot driven stuff is what would actually dictate to a degree what's going to happen with the PvP.
Right.
Yeah. You know, they've you know, the tarantulas have caught a spy, you know, coming in from the bears or whatever it is. Yeah. Or there's been a small altercation that might have been staged or not. Yeah. As part of the plot, because hell, Luke and I have caused enough trouble to actually start small wars.
They're talking about us in the some of those matron mothers.
Yeah, in the past, you know, we have kind of started a couple of wars that weren't part of the plot. But again, we were bored and sober, so
the worst combination.
Yeah, so you know, we had to do something about that, and that was to cause chaos. So yeah, the way that, you know, it's PvE that becomes PvP in that respect. But if it's a pure PvP event, right, then the refs must have some semblance of control, because, as you say, it would just take, you know, a few tooled up characters, you know, a friend Alistair and what have you, to go in, decimate the party, right? Game over, get the meat out, rock and roll.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody.
I'm not seeing the problem to that.
You know, and then everybody else kind of goes home with their tails tucked between their legs, going like, "No, that was a bit crap."
But doesn't that kind of indicate, though? I mean, with player versus player, because it's more intense, you have to be a better caliber of role player, because you really do have to hold your own. I think it also means that you won't take the silly decisions that you might take if you're PvE, because with PvE, an awful lot, like with the gathering, and it is no criticism of it, because I know a lot of events that do this, you can't die within the first 24 hours, you know, of kind of going, and they try and protect characters so that, you know, people who, you know, make decisions don't lose their characters like straight away and then spend the rest of the weekend just moping. But I think with PvP, because there is always that chance that you might die very quickly if you don't play your character right, or if you do something silly, if you're quite reckless, then, you know, you will lose your character because other people just won't tolerate it. They won't have time to. Well, they get paranoid and they'll just kill you. And I think rightfully so. So there's a part of me that kind of thinks, well, actually, what we should be doing, I mean, I like PvP events, but only because you really do have to act as your character. I think there's a lot of people who maybe don't do that, and, you know, they don't take the hits, they don't, you know, they play it properly, they're not really, you know, kind of aware of what are their surroundings, and they take chances that maybe they wouldn't do. I know it sounds a bit different. If it was real, they take chances that you just wouldn't do. They'll go for an entire crowd of people, you just wouldn't do that. You'd be a hell of a lot more reserved. a little bit less willing just to go in and throw yourself into a battle. So many other things that you just would not do when you're doing PvP. You have to really think and consider what it is you're doing, the effects of kind of that action on anything else. And it's a massive ripple effect.
Yeah, that's the thing. And there's also that kind of like, because you're so conscientious about the safety of your own character, like you said, Luke, you might be not as in character as you would before. So say, for example, you were playing against a load of NPCs and you were hard ass, you get in their faces and you go, oh yeah, let's do this and do that. Whereas if you were to try and do that to another player character, maybe you might be more reserved. Maybe you'll be thinking out of character, like, if I do something as stupid as this, that might get me killed, so I won't do it. So it pulls you out of the role play, out of that character, because I mean, it's probably not consciously doing it. It's probably a subconscious thing, or maybe some people do consciously, but it's just that you might do it because your character becomes the prime safety. I mean, can you imagine people like jumping into the fray to save a companion if they're down?
No,
in an event like that,
it just wouldn't happen. And when you think about it, it was the one thing, and I take it back to 2 times when this was a very valuable lesson to me. And the first one was when I was at the Bronze Grove Youth Centre. It was when I first started doing live role playing. It was that row with the person who sat there and said, "Look, if you've got 200 foot of rope, 50 days ration worth of food, full plate mail armour, and everything else that you apparently have in your backpack, then you try and jump 25 yards. If you can do it realistically, then I'll let you do it, kind of character." And the second thing that really hammered it home for me was my first time going to the gathering, when you do have 250 kind of people aiming for you. And that certainly is. It starts to make you think, because when it's player versus player, it isn't just this mythical thing. You can't just sit there and roll a dice and usually get the better of them. They are thinking that they've got to get the better of you, and it is as strategic as that. And so you don't just go into fights, and and we wouldn't do it normally, would we? So
well, think about it. Luke and I, when if we wandered around the street in Cardiff, when we're not like going, come on then, come on then, have a crack, come on then, I'll have you, mate. Right? We're normally going like, he might be able to beat me up. He might be able to beat me up. He might be able to beat me up.
I reckon we could both take him.
Yeah.
Do you remember when I went round with a bounty on my head?
Yes, when you actually went round.
It was a bounty on my head, and it was a chocolate bar bounty on my head. Yeah. And the thing is, actually, there was a lot. You could tell the PvP players, because Stuart and I were literally just looking for a fight. That's what we wanted to do. We just bought this new armor, and we were completely trying to just get anyone. And that's where we got. Did you spill my pint? Where you spill your own pint, and then you just tell someone that they did it. Kind of there. And we couldn't get anyone to come out at all. So no one would actually play at all, and those, you could tell those are the PvPs. It was more rationalized. It was, look, come on, are you sure you didn't do it? Can I buy you another drink? All that kind of stuff that you would normally do. And they were, I suppose, we had missed that point. At that point, we just wanted a fight. In hindsight, we should have just gone in and gone, does anyone want to fight? That would have been a lot quicker. But I mean, we couldn't get anyone to play at all, and that was why. It was because they were PvP players, whereas we were, airing it towards PvE. And I think the difference is that they just weren't they were never going to be as reckless as us. But there again, we had less to lose. I mean, we were at the gathering, we were first to second year characters. Who were we in the grander scheme of things? Half of the trouble that we caused, half the other characters wouldn't even dream of doing.
Not even think about it. No, absolutely right. Because you get your character after about 5 years. It starts to become meaningful. It can do things. You start to get the character all. I mean, look at Liz Blakeman. I mean, she's now what 2 IC of which faction she is now.
The
Griffins.
The Griffins. That's it. Yeah, I think it's the Griffins. Now, I mean, you're not going to throw that character away. You're just not going to, and you're not going to throw yourself and hurl yourself into it. It does become a little bit more strategic. It does become a little bit more thought-provoking. I suppose there are more things that you can do, better things that come out of it that you probably don't get the chance to do when you're first timers. But I would love to hear what you thought about it, because I actually really enjoyed PvP. I have to say.
Isn't there like a risk with the PvP event that people leave in the event with like a sour taste in their mouth? Because at the end of the day, there really has to be a winner and a loser. And do you want people going away from event miserable because they lost their character just for the sake of PvP?
I think if you're going into that sort of event, you know up front that realistically there's a really good likelihood that you may be walking away dead, type thing, right? Rolling up a new character and what have you. So I think if you're going into that sort of event, thinking to yourself, I don't know about you, but I won, then you're sadly gonna you're probably gonna die. It is as simple as that.
It's the ego thing, isn't it? I think when it comes down to it, it's just surviving. Watch Treasure Traps if you want to watch that. Where some of the true PvPs, because they say surviving is actually in itself a reward. And I think that's actually true to say of PvP, because it's so intense. You roll a character, but you roll it because that's what you want to play on that event, but don't expect to come out with it. Because if you were live role playing properly and you did half the battles that you and I have fought and come out of, even scathed and unscathed, you would never have walked away long term.
No, God, no.
True. And when it comes to PvP, I just think you got to lose your ego a little bit. I'm not saying you personally, but I think if people do go away,
I'm saying
very,
him
very
personally.
upset.
I think he should lose his fucking ego, to be honest.
Well, I think what you've got to do is just say, look, because there are people who I have dealt with, right? And the one character I killed about 4 or 5 times, and he got very stroppy.
I'm sat right here. All right, I'm sat right here.
But he deserved it. He looked at me in a funny way, quite frankly, and he had hair. What more do I need? But there was, and he got very funny about it. Wouldn't talk to me for about 3 or 4 years after that. Wouldn't come into it. But the fact is, nearly every character I've had that I've really loved is dead.
Yeah.
Because I think if you play them properly,
if you play them properly, you the thing is, you try to kill off Marcus every year.
He's still there.
Do you know, I've gone up to people and I've said the most outrageous things, and they've gone, "It's Marcus," and I'm going,
just literally just grabbing them and things, just kill me.
I've written it in my food and everything, But it's one of those things that some of the most surprising characters, some of the characters I really wanted to keep have lasted 5 minutes. And the ones that were throwaway overnight are still running, 5 years later.
I don't know how many bloody throwaway characters are still alive that I've got, to be honest with you. Silent Bob, he hasn't died.
Yeah, Silent Bob,
There's so many. It's like, oh, just kill them off. I just keep coming up. I just keep going to the rest, going like, I'm bored. Can I do a different character? And they go like, we got this. We do, work on that. Excellent. And then I get bored of that one. I go like, can I be something else now?
Doesn't that lead us on? I mean, Thomas has been quite right. I mean, I know there are people who love to get into their characters, and I'm down with this. I think if you love your character and you grow it, you nurture it, it becomes something really super big. Then I can understand that you would have an affinity with it, and to lose that character might kind of just be a little bit more. If you've invested a lot of time and you've got the right armor for him, and as well as I do, you can spend thousands on kind of LARPing equipment. And
it's amazing.
Shameless plug there for LARPing.
It's
LARP items right there.
It's amazing. Every single one of my characters has this beautiful red leather armor. It's uncanny.
Wow.
Stuff, so I can see the people who do get a bit, kind of grouchy. But I think that realistically, if you're going into PvP, the only advice I can give you is act as you would normally do. So if you won't normally go into a fight, don't go into that fight. And play a character that kind of, I know people say they want to do this. I say play a character that's very akin to you, because I think you'll find it easier to do. I think you'll enjoy it a lot more. You'll get so much more out of it. It is totally different to PvE. It's worlds apart, but that's not to say it's not any more enjoyable. It's just a different strand, and I think that I think some of the best LARPers have come from PvP events, because they they really do, understand the mechanics of, kind of LARPing, and, the need to negotiate, the need to think about what it is you're doing, not just go in and fight everything that moves. The talking, and I've played those for years and years and years. I find actually, and I think Stuart does as well, I actually find it better now. I think NCPing and not monstering is my bag. I actually like doing that more than I do player characters, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But that's just me now, and it might be a phase I'm going through. I don't know, might just old age.
Life crisis.
By the way,
it
Luke,
is monster life crisis.
Yeah. By the way, Luke, NCPing is basically a car park attendant.
Car park.
Just sort of,
non-player characters, which is obviously what I did say.
So
it's got levels.
It's got levels, yeah, quite. Yeah.
It's just that I'm always in the friggin' mezzanine. I'm never going to move out of that, am I?
No.
But yeah, NPCing, is what I like doing. But I tell you what, I love monstering only because for right now, it's just plot for me is just too much to think about.
Yeah,
so I want to go in and point and shoot. That's it. Just tell me where to go and who to go and hit, and I'll go and do that. And I get quite a lot out of it. And of course, a lot of really good scenarios need a good monster crew.
Yes.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, too right.
An event can be made by the monster crew.
I think so. You're absolutely right.
Because if you've got crappy monsters, who don't know how to do it, or like they get too competitive. If they get too competitive, that can be really bad. I think good monsters need to know when to push and when to back up and when to do that, and it can really make an event. It really can.
Oh, yeah, Luke and I know when to push and when to back up. The backup bit is when we're knackered.
Yeah.
It's more natural now, isn't it? Because there is a requirement for a monster fag break, even though neither of us smoke anymore.
Yeah, no.
And there's a Horlicks break as well, and there's toilet breaks. They're all natural. It all happens. We're just trying to fit it in with the scenario.
If it's sunny, we need a bit of time out of the sun as well. That sort of thing.
Just get some colour back.
Bring your own deck chairs.
So which PvP event are you going to?
Well, I'm going to Twilight Realms at the end of November, and it's a change because before that it was very PvE. Okay. It was a group of players, and they obviously were against NPCs. Now, the difference they've done with the Twilight Realms, which I think is really good, is that although there are players on either side, the main commanders of both sides are NPCs.
Okay.
So, in a sense, that the refs still have a kind of control over that PvP event because the commanders and everything like that, they can give orders, and so it's up to the players whether they want to say it. To follow the orders. But it's going to be kind of like my first event where it is like you will be fighting other player characters. Although, in all fairness, I'm an NPC, so it doesn't really bother me if I die or not. But it's like on the face of it, it kind of seems like it could go one way or another. But after talking to you guys, it seems a lot more fun. It could turn out to be a really amazing experience. And that's what I'm hoping for.
It definitely will be. But like I said, anybody that goes into a PvP type scenario, just be aware you're probably not going to have the character when you walk back out.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. Don't get too attached.
Yeah, that's right. You've got a good crowd though, because Twilight Realms they're good. They're a good role playing group.
Oh, definitely.
And to have that kind of caliber of people there is always a good thing. So I think what you've got to do is just take it in and see whether you fit in. You may go there and go, do you know what, this isn't for me, and that's okay, because I think you just got to find out which part of LARPing you like.
Oh, I already know which part of LARPing I like. I'm definitely more of a role player than a fighter.
Yeah.
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
But I mean, don't get me wrong. I love fighting. When I went to Balrog before, I mean, the first time I went, I was playing my kind of rogue, not kind of fighty kind of thing, and the roleplay was fun. But you kind of want to get stuck in at the same time, There's so much fun to play role-playing, but you want to get stuck in. But because I was so squishy and Luke was gunning for me, it was pretty hard because one hit and I was down.
It's a hobby.
Whereas this year, I was a heavy wearer, so I took a few more hits before Luke took me down. So, it's it was a bit more fun. But at the same time, I mean, at that thing, I could role play as well a lot. I mean, even though I was a fighter, I was still going to role play as much as I could. And I think at this upcoming event, I don't think it's going to be. It's not going to be one of those events where in front of each other and dead everyone. It's going to be a lot of build up to, and I think it's going to work really well. I really do.
I hope it does, because they're good events. And Twilight Raft is a good thing to go to. So
definitely.
Why don't you come back and let us know how it went?
Come back and let us know how you died, how it all went.
Oh, I'm gonna die. I can see it now. I'm already writing my will.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it should do. I've paid him enough bloody money, you know.
I know. Will your last will and testament start off with a contribution to BIC?
We'll
Maybe
see.
Gillette.
Yeah.
Is that really the best a man can get? Don't you lob the V's at me?
I know, knowing my luck.
I could see that kind of like, oh yeah, whatever, fat boy.
Knowing my luck, I'll probably ask to have a shave, but they'll just take the whole head off. That's probably
that's it. You'll accidentally cut yourself to death shaving. Yeah.
Other
the first one.
Other razor manufacturers are available.
Well, yeah. We don't just sponsor the two.
Yeah. Harry's for a clean shave. There we go.
Well, who?
Okay, yeah. So yeah, come back. Let us know how it all went and what have you. Perhaps do a little bit of
dance, make a little love. Get down tonight.
Get down tonight. Do that down tonight.
Sure, Rob will come back as well and give you a report because I'm pretty sure Rob's going as well.
Yeah.
Rob's got to stop seeing unicorns first.
Yeah, that's a good point.
How serious those drugs were. When I spoke to him earlier on, he was going off on one, and I could sat there seeing. You could see the unicorns gently dancing around his head, and the birds were kind of like power dancing all around him and what have you. And you could see that there was a lot going on.
Bless him, bless him. Tell you what, teeth. Who needs them?
Honestly,
who needs them, mate? Who needs them?
Yeah.
I mean, I had my teeth out by there, right? It took them about an hour to pull it out.
Yeah.
Constantly. They were going like that, and they were terrified that it would snap. The tooth would snap, and then I would have been buggered.
See, you don't really want to go to those live roleplay events.
Oh, no. Medieval dentistry is just not good.
So, I mean, this whole thing about getting into character is fine until someone loses a tooth.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Bloody half of my teeth are ceramic teeth now anyway. It's like, to be honest with you.
I don't know. Is it Ming Dynasty?
Yeah, I told her, I said, look, just knock them all out. I'll be done with them, man. Yeah, it's fine.
But the gold-plated ones.
Yeah.
Get
some bling.
Nice.
Get some bling. Actually, I'd probably go for the ones like Jaws had from the Bond movies.
Those would be good, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they'd be excellent.
Something,
or steel or whatever the hell it was, wasn't it? It was polished, whatever. But I'd do that, no problem.
Would go rusty, wouldn't it? In your mouth, wouldn't it have to be like titanium or something?
Probably. Perhaps it was just But then again, of course, I mean, don't forget, it was just a movie. Just to let you know.
It's all real.
All real.
Those teeth were real.
And the steel bar that he bit through, that was real as well.
All true. All true.
Yeah.
Not
None of it make believe at all.
Honestly, James Bond actually happened.
Yeah.
That's all secretive, isn't it?
Yeah.
What better way to keep something secret than to have it in
plain view?
Plain view. Right in front of you.
Yeah, it's how I hide the majority of things from my wife, but how I managed to get by the 27-inch monitor, the 27-inch monitor for to say, is that a new monitor? No.
It's always been there.
It's always been that size. It's just you've obviously looked at it at a wrong angle.
I don't know whether is it true. There was a guy, just going off on a little bit of a tangent here.
Go on.
There was a guy in China who, down to their kind of privacy and locking stuff down, has made it his life to find all the adult content in all of the World Wide Web. Right, he's made about 33,000 bans, right, of adult porn and all that kind of stuff, so that China could ban them. But he's had to go onto every site to sample it, and I just pictured this young lad with one arm normally, then Popeye for the other. Oh, terribly bad site. I've had to visit that a few times.
Just to make sure that it was as bad as I thought it was.
Can you imagine what's your job? I have to find all the porn or bad adult content on every site. Yeah, that's what they call it. I mean, that's just the best excuse, isn't it, for every adolescent?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's I had to do a bit of research, Mum.
Yeah, that's right. This should be banned.
Yeah, this and this one. Oh, and this one as well.
Oh, no, you're so out of date. Let me just update it for you.
No, there we go. Cool. Okay. Shall we move swiftly on?
Yes, let's.
Right. So we've talked a little bit about LARPCon, but apparently Rob's going, Jamie's going. Rob wants to know, for any listeners out there, if there's anything that you would like him to do at LARPCon. He was very vague when he said anything that you'd like him to do.
Dance with funny hat.
Yeah, exactly. So I think as he's left it very open-ended in his drug-fueled state, that it should actually be exactly that. Anything that you would like him to do, try to keep it semi-clean so he doesn't actually get arrested.
He's got to be clothed.
He's got to be clothed, you know. Yeah. Then send them in, larpbookshow@gmail.com. Get in touch with us via the website, the Twitter, the whatever. Yeah. And we'll send him on his merry way, and we'll see what he actually manages to get away with.
I got one here because it does say on one of the things that was there's a little notice here, and it says, not content with just a starship bridge and a film room at LARPCon 2016, we've also got an escape room planned. Teams of up to 6 people will have up to 45 minutes to solve puzzles and escape the room.
So this is basically Crystal Maze. Okay, right, fine. Why don't they just say Crystal Maze? They probably can't say Crystal Maze because it's probably copyrighted or something like that.
Physical.
It's an escape puzzle room.
What was the options? Physical.
No. Physical, mental.
Mental.
Yeah, it was mental. It was brain.
Mental.
I mean, to be honest though, did you honestly feel that the caliber of the people who went on that show was slightly under par?
Yes, I thought.
Because you went in there and they go, I can't see it. It's 1 + 1, love.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Just get the goddamn key. That's all you got to do. It's in the corner of the room with a huge thing on there that says,
"Get
Pick
the crystal."
Me.
Yeah. Get the crystal.
It was always the same for Nightmare as well. I always thought the kids were really dumb.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with Nightmare, the one that had the intelligence was the one they put the frickin' helmet on.
Yeah, it was totally, wasn't it? Everyone wanted to wear the helmet.
Yeah.
And you'd see they go left a bit. No, your other left.
Yeah.
Oh, you just fallen in a hole.
Those holes.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I tell you what they should remake, and it would be awesome if they remade it. With the modern technology that we have now, would be the adventure game.
Oh, I do remember that. I used to like that.
Now we're showing our ages. Tom just went like, what? I have no clue what that is.
I'm afraid I've never watched that.
You'll have to look it up on the Tube. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the adventure game. 80s.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it was the 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, in all fairness, I was born in '88, so you gotta give me a bit of leeway there.
Can you turn him off now? It was always the vortex at the end.
Yeah,
yes, we were actually. Yeah. Holy cow!
What's that? What's that?
I was down in Orpington, Kent in '88. I just started, kind of work. Oh,
I was 16.
Oh God!
Were you not laughing then, Stu?
Oh God, yeah, I've been laughing since about 13, 14. But I was in '88. I was 16 years of age.
So I started on the YTS scheme. Stupid.
Yeah. Youth training.
Youth training scheme. That's what it was called. It's called something completely different where I came from. And yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Orpington, Kent. I spent a very happy weekend down there. But yes, I always used to like the vortex on the adventure game.
Yeah, the very last game, wasn't it?
Very last game, and that was always the bit that had the most tension and the most amazingly stupid people driving the poor person going left and right.
Yeah, it was basically a 9x9 grid, right? And they couldn't see the vortex. And by the way, I'm doing that in quotes, all right?
Yeah.
Because I know you can't see me, but in quotes, the vortex. And basically, the vortex would move, okay? And it can only move one space. You know, forward, back, diagonal, whatever, yeah? And then you would move, or the player would move one space, okay? And they can move forward, back, whatever, okay? But the idea was to also to get to the other end, yeah, without being caught by the vortex. But the problem is, you didn't know where the vortex was.
Did the audience know?
Yes, the audience could see it. The audience could see it through the magic of television, yeah. But the actual player couldn't see it.
So how are they supposed to win? Was it just pure luck?
Pure luck.
Pure luck.
Pure luck and strategy.
At my TV.
You know, and strategy. You know, move one forward, move to the side, move back, move to the side, move back, move forward, whatever. Yeah, some of it was strategy, and some of it was just blind luck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. How half the kids ever got through, I never know. Because some of the ones that you didn't think would be able to stand up without a letter from or a lot of help from the mother.
Yeah.
You know, kind of would make it through, just sail through, and the really intelligent people would just be kind of crushed. It was really odd, but it was strangely addictive.
It was cracking. You know, it was basically the Crystal Maze for kids, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But it was rather cool. Set in space with aliens. You know.
Yeah, no, that's right.
It was tick all the boxes: games, aliens, space, and a pot plant that talked.
Do you need any more?
Exactly. You know. Really? Okay, so we done kind of LARPCon. Yeah, that is. Where's my information on that? There it is. So it's the 26th of February to the 28th of February at the Hermitage. Am I saying that right? Yeah, Hermitage Leisure Centre in Whitwick, which is in Colville, Leicester. Go along and find Robert. Give him some help. I mean, shake his hand.
Yeah.
You know.
And if he offers you a drink, decline.
Unless of course, you know, you like, you know, well, basically, unless you actually like pan-galactic gargle blasters, just
or slipping into something a little bit more comfortable.
Exactly. Right, we got some other events here, haven't we, folks?
Well, we've got the Nordic LARP event, haven't we?
No, there's another one as well, which is Contact.
Oh yes, I've where did I say that? Contact.
Yeah. 18th of November
to the
next
20th.
year. Okay, so they're really pushing this one out there, giving people time. To the 20th. Consul Scout Camp. I've no idea where that is.
I shall find out now.
There is a map there, so we'll find that in a minute.
What's interesting about this, and I've not seen this before, but that's only because I just don't care.
It's near Stoke-on-Trent.
Yeah, they've got an interested button on there. Have you seen that?
They have, yeah. Interested, going invited.
Absolutely. So if you are interested in it, just have and obviously there must be, you know, kind of updates that are coming through. But it looks quite good. I like the premise of it.
This isn't the one that Katie goes to, is it?
No.
Pass me.
I
don't think so.
Right.
What?
Jack and Katie, no, there must be something else. It must be another one.
I mean, why are you asking me? I don't know. I don't know what my daughter does.
Well, you know, it's only your daughter. I was just, you know, just asking.
That's just hideous that you don't know what your own daughter's doing.
I haven't got a clue, you know.
By the way, I just want to relay a message from chat. We've got a friend of mine called Liz, and she says she loves all the accents on the podcast.
All the accents. American, all right. Okay.
Oh, well, there we go. Marvellous. Thank you so much for that.
Where in America is she from?
I don't know, actually.
I'll ask her then.
Well, she'll say in the chat when she's ready.
Yeah, it'll be about in about 30 seconds time.
In about 30 seconds time.
So we'll just wait.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we'll just it's probably never been done in a podcast before, but you know, we're not.
Right, I'm just seeing whether or not there's anything I can actually read about this contact thing. Really,
well, there's actually a thing that says existence alone within the void. Dreamers, searchers, listeners, finding nothing but dust. Now in the darkness, something gathers.
Yeah, but I think we're going to have a bit of sort of thing for this, aren't we?
Go on then.
Here we go. Set decades after the Alone series, Contact will explore a very different aspect of the established Alone universe. For centuries, humanity has watched the skies and sent messages into the ether. Finally, something has come back. Dun dun dun!
Oh, no one saw that one coming.
No. Okay.
Wow.
So obviously,
brilliant.
Obviously a bit more modern sci-fi type thing, as it says actually in the title, a LARP sci-fi event. It was there the entire time.
It was just kind of right.
Actually, that brings up a question that I'll save for another podcast.
Well, you can't leave us going like that. Sure.
That's a tease. That's a tease.
You can't say that to Mars.
He's pulling your Johnson. Right?
No. That will be a tease. That'll be a tease for the next podcast.
You teaser, you. So when you come back from LARP, your PvP event,
yes,
you're going to have to then ask us a question.
Yes.
Can we hold you to this now?
Yes.
Just make a quick note.
Yeah, we'll have to note it down now because he's not always available either. And that man in America is still waiting for his latte.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
it's
difficult. He's a very demanding man.
He did contact me the other day. He said, not be funny, but where's my latte?
Where's the service?
And that's how he said it as well. Where's my latte?
Yeah.
Latte.
And if you think you're getting a tip other than shave the moustache, then think again.
It's really funny actually when you actually close and do that with your mouth. It's like you haven't got one.
Now.
It's like do the kind of seal your lips really together. Do it now. It's gone. His mouth's gone.
It's like Cousin It from the Addams Family.
Yeah.
It's all over. I know, it's weird. Around my mouth, it just grows fierce, like
Does it growl at you?
It does sometimes. It needs feeding sometimes, but everywhere else is crap. Crap.
Oh, crap! Not crabs.
I don't know. Right. I was kind of more down with crabs actually.
Yeah.
So that's more interesting.
Nordic LARP are doing Solmakota. I'm getting that wrong.
Yeah, you are.
So getting that wrong. So I apologise for the Nordic people of my bastardization of that word. So it's the role-playing conference Solmakota. Is held annually in one of the Nordic countries. In 2016, it will be held in, drumroll, Finland.
Finland.
Okay. Solmakota is the main venue of cooperation and culture exchange between Nordic role-playing gamers. We really should do something like this in this country, where we all kind of get together. Oh, hang on, that's the LARPCon, isn't it? No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, a LARPCon's a LARPCon, isn't it? It's not like where you get together and try to hash out ideas, because that's what these do. Is they actually, and they do it on a cruise ship, so basically nobody can actually leave. Seriously, they go on a cruise ship. It goes from Helsinki, and hosts the last night of the week in Finland. So hang on a minute, right? So Solmakota 2016 will start Thursday afternoon as the cruise ship sails from Stockholm. So they've all got to get a syndrome. Sorry, that joke. That joke was bubbling there just for a second. Only a second. And I had to get it out.
Even start.
But we really, it would be fantastic to do something like that as well. Not get Stockholm syndrome. I've got that anyway. I'm married.
Stop licking yourself, you animal.
Sorry.
That's all I can hear. It's like some kind of doggy porn show going right underneath by my feet.
I thought it was you.
He won't leave himself alone. I'm quite worried about him now, and a little jealous that he can reach there.
We're all a little jealous. Yeah, we'll put all of these details up, not the dog licking, up on the up on LARPBook.com with the show notes and what have you. But before we go, we've got one thing which is a hypothetical help. Okay, so Borden Gromsgrove writes, how many LARPers does it take to change a light bulb?
This is a good one. Do you like this?
I do. I'm glad it was asked, because that question has never been asked before in the history of the universe ever.
So we are tackling these questions so no one else has to waste part of their life to do so.
I would say that it probably takes two. All right, the one person to actually change the light bulb, and the other person to take the piss out of the one actually changing the light bulb.
But is the light bulb lamed?
Well, only if it's a special LED one.
LED one, lamed.
with special power of saving cash.
Saving cash.
Saving energy.
Saving cash damage. Oh, I like that.
Energy saving bulb, saving cash damage. There we go.
Now, if you've got 3 dwarfs, because really, if you've got dwarfs, I mean, we can't be heightist, and we must not be heightist here. But if you've got dwarves, about 20.
Yeah.
I think so.
Exactly.
Elves.
Elves 1, and they can probably paint your ceiling while they're there.
Ogres, you won't really have a ceiling left.
No, yeah. Ogres, what in it? What light bulb?
Eat the bulb.
Yeah.
Hobbits.
Yeah.
Hobbits. What's a light bulb?
Yeah, that's it. They'll change it with a feet.
Yeah.
Gandalf will change it exactly when he means to.
Yeah, exactly.
And nothing will pass until it's done.
Nothing will pass until it's done.
So hopefully, aboard in Bromsgrove, you will actually, and it's my mother, it's got to be, because she's the only person I know in Bromsgrove.
Yeah.
Then basically, we have answered your question. It kind of depends on what character you're playing.
Yeah, and of course, Smeagol won't actually give it back because it'll be his precious.
It's precious. It's LED precious. I was just thinking, right?
Yeah.
Gollum has got more hair than I have.
Yeah.
He does.
Because he's got the 3 strands that go across, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just flouting it in my face.
Exactly. So, is that it, folks? I think it is. We've done quite well. That's an hour and 15 we've done.
That's not too bad, is it?
Believe it or not.
Not bad at all.
Liz is from the south, by the way.
The south.
Well, that narrows it down. Thank you, Liz. It's only the south of America.
South. I don't know where's south, but apparently she sounds like Scarlett O'Hara.
Oh.
So, yes. She does actually have a very nice voice. She does a podcast herself.
Scarlett O'Hara or
yes, she does.
Or Scarlett Johansson, because either one's good. Either one will do it for me.
That's right. So we'll have to get her on the show now we've got to listen to her, haven't we?
So has she got like more of a southern drawl then? Is it
No, it's not. It's not. I wouldn't say it was a very, very thick southern drawl accent, but it is southern. Okay,
we'll definitely have to. So her podcast then. What does she do in her podcast? I'm afraid to ask actually now.
No, it's
one of those.
It's a computer game podcast.
Okay,
it's for Dragon Age.
Ah, right.
Oh, yeah, because you have quite a lot to do with this, don't you, Tom?
Not their podcast, but I do play Dragon Age a lot and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, so, you do.
So in that case, then we'll go out on that wonderful high. Thomas of the Busby Variety, tell people how they can find you on Tinterwebs.
Okay, well, you can find me on Twitter mainly at redundant_UK. That's where you find all my other stuff, and I'm actually on Twitch as well. So if you want to get me, it's twitch.tv/redundant UK, one word, just to confuse you even more.
Yeah, well, sometimes
redundant. You're pretty shocking at making coffee. That's why.
Sometimes
I'm a tea-sort guy.
Sometimes those underscores, they're just not available, are they?
Well, exactly.
Yeah, as simple as that. Luke, how can people find you on Tinterweb?
like I say, they can't because I've got crap internet. But you can find me on Facebook. You will see me on. I actually put my first Twitter comment on for nearly 3 years with I really must get out more. And then you can get me at the LARPBook web address, which Stuart will now tell you about.
Yeah, that's pretty much, I think,
look at that link.
My cue to hit the button. Okay, simple as that, really, isn't it? So, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Music was provided by Ben Sound at bensound.com. If you've even found even slight value in this show at any point,
isn't it?
wanna sort of pop across to Patreon, patreon.com/LARPBook, obviously. Just donate $1. That's even less than a Starbuck could possibly ever be. Yeah, once a month. Just forego that one Starbuck. You can reach us. You can reach us by obviously going to the Podbean site, which is larpbook.podbean.com. Email us anything you like. We'll read any old crap on this show. larpbookshow@gmail.com. Questions, ideas, even if it's just get off, you're idiots. We'll even go with that. The web
series review.
The website is larpbook.com for news, reviews, and other things. Facebook, hey, guess what? Just search for LARPBook, you'll find us. Twitter, guess what? It's at LARPBook. It's pretty much a theme running through here. Don't forget to give us a 5-star review on iTunes, and we will catch you all next time. Bye!
Bye then, we love you. Well,
bye bye.
Thomas a little less, Stu.
And we're done.
Yay.
Let me just very quickly check.
Always ask someone.
It's me. Who's
She'll say
okay. Yep, that's there.
Running at full time. That's how we normally sound.
That's how
we sound to other people.
I thought we sounded like the Queen.
I say.
One must actually make sure that LARPing and lammies are together in one home.
One must always use one's corgis to wipe one's sword.
Take that, double.
Take your. Got 10 viewers.
Whoop! Excellent.
That's not bad going.
I want to ask you actually, Mr. Bursby, with this creative thing that Twitch are now doing.
Yeah.
Is it the sort of thing that we can move over to, as in this is a creative podcast and not gaming?
I think creative's more for streams where they do art on, as in, you know, like they actually show you. To be honest, they only did it so they could just stream, you know, like Bob Ross.
I tell you what, I have actually been watching him. I have been watching him like today. Oh my God, he is the most calming individual. Yes. Luke, if you've not watched this guy, right?
He's the guy with a bit of a microphone hairdo.
Oh yeah. Right,
yeah.
You got it. Right. Him. Oh my God, I was sat here. I was mellowing the hell out, just watching him and listening to the man. I was like,
and we'll just put a little happy little tree down here.
Yeah, right. And I was like, good God, you wouldn't need drugs just listen to this guy and you're mellow.
Honestly, he's fantastic. He's the cure for stress, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You know, in fact, it's kind of made me think to myself, hey, I could paint, you know.
It makes it look so easy, doesn't it? He just gets a brush and goes, "Oh, you just do this, this, and this," and you know it looks perfect. It's like a mountain or forest.
If you were to do that, it'd just be a smear.
I was watching. What you wouldn't see are the amount of screw-ups that we'd had at the bottom, which amounted to half the paper mountain.
Yeah, I was basically watching him sort of do these hillsides, you know, just tapping the brush on or whatever. I think to myself, I could do that. I could do that, no problem.
Yeah, and then you have a go and you go, no, really, I still can't.
You know, actually, that just looks like poo. Right, well, I'll come off Twitch now. So thank you very much for everybody that actually came into the show and watched us and listened to us. We do love you. We love you openly and
more than really we should. And the courts find acceptable.
I was just chatting to Liz and Celine through the entire podcast, so you know.
Oh, you slut! Honestly,
absolutely.
We're kind of jealous because you're you know, You're speaking to two girls at any one time, whereas
the only girls
Stu and I have two girls usually running away from us at any one time.
You know, the only girls we really speak to are our wives, and let's be honest, they're just normally like, "Why are you speaking to me?"
Yeah, so, you're annoying me again by doing that. You know, that thing, breathing.
And like, look, I said yes, but we're not supposed to talk. You know,
that's right.
Don't look at me.
It's in the contract. It's in the contract. So thank you very much, everybody, and have a fantastic night. Bye.
Bye then.